This is the tale of a man whose journey took him from the driver's seat of a taxi to the realm of multimillionaires in under 5 years, transitioning into a lucrative career as a successful dope dealer. He amassed wealth to the extent that his kids attended the same prestigious school as the kids of the Swiss president. With numerous properties and fleet of luxurious cars, his lifestyle epitomized opulence. What's even more interesting, it was later revealed that the police officer assigned to his case was in fact a mastermind behind the syndicate. You see, this syndicate intercepted confiscated dope and sold it back to the streets with the help of his corrupt police crew. This is a story about 3 cops who started by arresting dope dealers to becoming dope dealers themselves. Ngengelezi Mgomezulu was born in rural Mpumalanga, specifically in a place known as Dagaskraal. He appears to have been part of the freedom struggle, with reports indicating that he was a member of the MK, the original one. Additionally, there are allegations linking him to the Virodin drug scandal as an investor, medication falsely claimed to cure HIV. However, Ngengelezi was primarily recognized for his involvement in the taxi business throughout the 90s in Soweto. It was later discovered that he used to be part of a gang that imported kush from Swaziland to South Africa in that same period. There's no clear records of the exact dates, but in the early 2000s, he established connections with individuals from Asia who had access to chemicals used in the production of Mandrex. Now, he maintained ties with these plugs from various countries such as Thailand, China, Dubai, Swaziland, and South Africa. Now, transitioning from a taxi driver to a multimillionaire in less than 5 years, his rise to the top was remarkably quick. Now, Mgomezulu wasn't shy to flaunt his ill-gotten wealth, showcasing his luxurious lifestyle by frequenting overseas destinations several times a month, including trips to London solely for lunch. And one of his kids pursued an MBA in London, while the other 2 attended a prestigious school in Switzerland. Mgomezulu owned multiple properties in KwaZulu-Natal and in Gauteng. Yet police uncovered that one of his mansions in Sandton doubled as a dope manufacturing facility. Reportedly, they utilized the tennis court of the house to dry powdered dope before packaging it, alongside machinery capable of processing large quantities of pills simultaneously. Now, upon their arrest, the police seized dope valued at 18 million rands from the premises. Now, Mgomezulu, alongside his wife, managed 47 bank accounts, 3 of which were offshore. Now, during the time of his arrest, the police uncovered a quotation for the purchase of a tablet manufacturing machine from Taipei in Taiwan. Now, the Mandrex powder discovered at his Sandton mansion primarily originates from China or in Taiwan.
You will think this is a house. It's not a house. It's actually a drug factory, because each and every room in this particular place is a drug lab. They do manufacture. We have arrested 4 people, and 3 of the people were connected to here. The 4th one was trying to bribe the police so that they are able to kill this particular case, but was also taken into custody.
You see, this guy Mgomezulu embodied a flamboyant persona. Every action he took was excessively grandiose. He thrived on the need for recognition, which inevitably drew attention of the police, particularly Superintendent Dumisani Jwaga. The problem with Mgomezulu was that he wasn't smart enough at the time to realize that he needed to build a legit source of income, leaving him unable to account for his lavish lifestyle in case he was questioned by the police. And it happened. When the police came knocking and confronted him, he failed to justify his sources of wealth and was subsequently arrested. And at the time of his arrest, there was a large number of Mandrex tablets in the property and equipment and machinery capable of producing 70,000 tablets per hour. And the raid garnered significant media attention due to the scale of the operation and its location. The police officer who arrested Mgomezulu garnered significant attention for his commendable performance at the time. Now this is where the story takes an intriguing turn. You see, Mgomezulu was granted bail of 100,000 rands, while his co-accused received bail of 30,000 rands. However, the case soon faded from public awareness, and despite extensive internet searches, I couldn't find anything going further. Like, I didn't see any prosecution or anything like that. Until I kept on searching and searching and searching. Yeah, and I came across another article, interesting article. Years later, news surfaced that the very same police officer who was leading Mgomezulu's arrest, Dumisane Jwagha, had been arrested himself for orchestrating a dope syndicate primarily operating in OR Tambo. Now, their modus operandi involved intercepting dope traffickers attempting to enter South Africa via OR Tambo, confiscating their dope and reselling it back to the streets. Essentially, they were exploiting their law enforcement status to jack dealers, keeping the dope for themselves and profiting from their resale. Senior Superintendent Petros Dumisane Jwagha was head of the Western Organized Crime Unit. He was sentenced to an effective 25 years in prison for overseeing the drug syndicate's operation for over 5 years. His accomplices, Inspector Victor Mpojwili and Captain Ratseki Landro Mukhosana, were each sentenced to 22 and 20 years respectively for their roles in managing and perpetuating the syndicate's activities. You see, these guys were making fake arrests just so they could get their hands on the product, utilizing information obtained from police informants and other law enforcement resources. It was documented that on one occasion, they stole that off-white powder from OR Tambo, subsequently reselling it for 1.5 million rands, and also a rare form of H, which they sold for 80,000 rands. According to court testimony, this one-time uninformed local police officers arrived while Jwagha and his crew were conducting a raid. Now, the local police were called by a neighbor after hearing noises next door, not knowing what was happening. Now, upon their arrival, Jwagha's crew identified themselves as members of the organized crime unit in the West Rand, and they've been working on this case for long. And the local cops accepted that. They stood aside and observed while Jwagha's crew did their thing. Now, Jwagha's crew retained a portion of the seized drugs for themselves while relinquishing few for evidential purposes before surrendering the suspects. After transferring the suspects and some of the dope, they accompanied the local police to the nearest police station to initiate legal proceedings against the individuals whose residence was raided. Now, without arousing any suspicions amongst their colleagues, they then departed with the dope to go and resell in the streets. What's even more interesting is that as they were running the streets and making money, other cops began to realize what was going on, prompting them to investigate Jwagha's lifestyle, and the investigating officer sought permission to intercept Jwagha's calls, leading to the discovery that he was extorting dope dealers for up to 5 million rands so they could evade arrest on grounds of illegal arrest, among other reasons. You see, Jwagha played an instrumental role in the release of a dope dealer from Douglasdale police station. Despite being caught red-handed with dope, Jwagha instructed his crew to release the man from custody, citing illegal arrest. Now, in another instance, a dope dealer, Hamilton Madikane, arrested for manufacturing dope worth 6 million rands, saw his charges withdrawn with the assistance of Jwagha. Now, if you remember, guys, how his case just disappeared after he got his bail, and the guy was arrested with dope that was worth 18 million rands at his house. If you look at the arresting officer, which was Jwagha, and the activities that he was later arrested for, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put 2 and 2 together to see what happened to Mgomezulu. But look, I'm not insinuating anything, I'm just stating the obvious. The court accepted a lifestyle audit report encompassing all individuals involved. According to the audit, Joacha failed to account for the presence of a 1.5 million rands which was found in his bank account, despite earning a salary of 18,000 rands as a senior superintendent at the time. Now Jwele and Mukhosane, his crew, were found to have amounts ranging between 70,000 rands and 80,000 rands respectively in their bank accounts. Now Ngengelezi and his crew, their arrest merely created an opening for another crew of cops to resume where they left off. You see, police officers are human too. Sometimes greed overtakes them. You see, recently a politician made an interesting point suggesting that police officers should receive bonuses for apprehending high-profile criminals and solving complex cases, particularly if those cases result in convictions. Now consider this scenario. If a police captain earns 18,000 per month and is tasked with arresting someone who has 10 million rands cash in their house and consistently facing such risks yet receiving the same salary, look, some individuals' moral compass may falter under the strain of poverty while they are trying to uphold integrity. Share your thoughts on the comments. Do you believe providing incentives for police officers would reduce corruption, or will greedy individuals always remain greedy regardless of how much incentives we give them?